Hi YouTube, I'm going to be going through all of the books that I read for April, and I'm going to be going through my ratings and reviews and a little synopsis of what it's all about. So let's get started. I'm going to start it off strong with Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. I rated this a 5 out of 5. I literally just finished it the other day, and it is so good. So good. It's heartbreaking. Check your triggers before you read this book because there is a lot of traumatic stuff going on. So to give you a little bit of a synopsis, it's about a girl named Cora and her sister Mandy, and her sister Mandy has a fiance named Dean, and Dean and Cora do not like each other. They fight and they have lots of problems, and so basically Dean and Cora end up getting kidnapped together and taken into a basement, and you can guess what happens from there. But it sort of goes through their time there, and it goes through the aftermath and what they have to deal with and how they are, what they are to each other now. Amazing book. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I read this month for my book club, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. This was my first Emily Henry book, and I was not disappointed. I love her writing. I think it's awesome. I was a little bit bored in places. That's why I didn't give it a 5 out of 5. But this book goes through basically a friend group, almost like a coming of age of a friend group. They are older. They're in, I believe they're late 20s, early 30s, and it's in the point of view of a girl named Harriet and a guy named Wynn, and they are engaged, but it basically starts it off by saying that they broke it off and you don't know why. And so they basically have to go to this cabin that all of their friend group has gone to every single year as a little trip to like see each other again, and they basically have to spend time with each other and act like they're still together because nobody knows that they're not. It is like forced proximity, fake dating, I guess, and it's really good. I really liked it. The next book I rated a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I actually listened to this on Audible, and I loved it. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I haven't read any books like that, and I enjoyed it so much. We love like a gloomy, dark villain who is only going to be good for the girl and only listens to the girl, and that is what this is. It's set in more modern times though, and I love that because I believe it's like set in the city, and so you can really empathize with them more. That's why I like reading books like that in like more modern times, because it makes it more believable to me. And so if you know the Hades and Persephone story, I don't have to go into that much more. If you follow me on TikTok, you know the struggle that I had with this book, Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This book was boring for me. I rated it a 2 out of 5 stars, and only because I almost DNF'd it. I thought the ending was amazing. I thought it was really a good bow on the end of the book, but I just could not get through it, and I couldn't give it more than a 2 out of 5 stars because I almost DNF'd this book like 110 pages in. It just wouldn't pick up for me. It goes back and forth between the past and the present of Addie. She basically never ages, and it goes through her life and nobody remembers her name. And so it goes through all of her struggles day by day, literally detail by detail. I kid you not. If you've read this book, then you know. But I'm not going to say too much more. I don't want to give it away for you, but personally would not recommend. The next books I'm going to talk about are part of a series. It's Heartless and Flawless, part of the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. Love this series so far. I haven't started the next book, Powerless, yet, but I rated Flawless a 4 out of 5 and Heartless a 5 out of 5. It's about basically this family that lives in Chestnut Springs. It's all boys, basically. It's an all-boy family. And so Flawless follows the youngest, I believe, of all of the brothers, and he is a bull rider. And so he basically does something in the beginning of the book that isn't good. And so his publicist assigns his daughter to basically babysit him. And it follows their love story, and it's so good. And the next book Heartless is about the oldest brother of all of the brothers, and he has a child, and the mother's not really in the picture, and so he's trying to look for a babysitter, and the female main character from this book is trying to help him find a babysitter, and so her best friend needs something to do for the summer, basically, and so she sort of assigns her to the job of taking care of the main male character's son, and it basically follows their story, and it is so good, you guys. I think it was my favorite read out of all of April. That's how good it was. I loved it so much. The next book is Powerful by Lauren Roberts. If you know me, you know I love Lauren Roberts and her writing. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a novella, so it's not technically the second book to the Powerless series, but it follows Adina, which is Peyton's best friend, and it sort of follows her story while Peyton is doing the trials sort of in the city and what Adina has been up to. So, again, it's like a romance, fantasy, romantasy, but it's really good, and if you've read Powerless and you loved it, you should definitely read Powerful. Next is The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. I read this book because I loved her Selection series, and so I was like, oh, I love the Selection series. I'm probably going to love The Betrothed. No. I listened to it, and I didn't like it. I rated it 2 out of 5 stars. It follows Hollis, who is basically sort of like betrothed to this king, and it basically goes through how she feels and all of the court drama, all of that good stuff. I just felt like this book was so long and there wasn't a lot of stuff happening. It was all just about like silly court drama, like I was in high school. So the second book to the series is a little bit better, but I just still like, it was a very surface level for me and I couldn't get into it. The next book is Butcher and the Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I actually listened to this on Audible as well, and I really enjoyed it. I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's definitely a different kind of book. So it follows 2 serial killers. It's sort of like a comedic romance, I guess. Check your triggers for this as well, because I mean, it's all sort of like fun and games, but at the same time, there is a serious aspect to it. But like I said, it follows 2 serial killers, and they basically have this like bet on who can kill a certain person that they choose each year. And it's like a competition, and it basically follows their like romance story. So very interesting, very different than what I've read before. Next is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's the second book to Divine Rivals. I enjoyed this book better than the first one. If you like Harry Potter and like World War II, like it's like if they had a baby. It's like a Harry Potter magic system in World War II era. And I really enjoyed it. Some people go crazy for this series. I am not so much going crazy for it. I enjoyed the writing and the world, but some parts it felt a little like boring for me. I was wanting a little bit more of the fantasy aspect and for the explanation of certain things. So I fell a little short in that aspect, but I still enjoyed it. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And last but not least, on my Kindle, I read Twisted Love by Anna Huang. It's the first book of the Twisted series, and I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait to continue reading the series. There was obviously some things that I was like, ooh, but I feel like that's with all Anna Huang books. There's some certain things in the books that you're like, but I really enjoyed the first one. I can't wait to read the next one, which is Twisted Games. So I'll update you in May for what I choose to rate that one. So yeah, these are all the books that I read in April. I hope you enjoyed my little synopsis and rating. If you have any questions, let me know. Or if you want to see some other videos from me, let me know that as well. But if you enjoyed it, definitely like and subscribe.